I have some great news when it comes to Mantra. And what is that? If we take a look at Grayscale, right? When it comes to assets under consideration, what does it say? It says something called Mantra and its native token called Ohm. And I think this right here is amazing because before a lot of people like to comment and say, yeah, Grayscale is this, it's caca, it's trash, all this type of stuff. Here's the thing. You take a look at Grayscale, it's pretty much one of the biggest things out there. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, for instance, right, holds currently over 220,000 Bitcoin. Considering the current value of Bitcoin, that right there is actually around $15 billion, give or take, right, worth of Bitcoin. That's crazy. I mean, you got to consider how, again, Grayscale, it's absolutely massive. It's not some random caca thing. Now, here's the thing. Some people like to say that, oh yeah, when it comes to Mantra, right, assets under consideration, its native token called Ohm, does it automatically mean that Grayscale is going to start acquiring, it in a large basis, let's say hundreds of millions of dollars? No, it doesn't guarantee that. And they did announce this like not too long ago, but even besides that point, I think anyways, like either way you take a look at it, this is a win-win situation because if let's say they're just considering it, like as of right now, I think it validates Mantra as a serious project because they're not going to actually consider something that's complete trash. They just won't. Grayscale, they're too reputable, they're too massive, they're too experienced, they're not going to do that. They're not going to go on X and then ask opinions of people, oh yeah, what do you think about Mantra? Oh, what do you think about its native token called Ohm? Do you think it could do this? No, they're not doing that, right? They actually do their due diligence, they have a team, they're very well experienced again. So when they do something, they do it with intent, and they're just not going to consider something that's trash. And the fact that they're even announcing it to begin with, I think it validates, again, Mantra as being an amazing project because Mantra, let's face it, it's not the biggest project out there. It's not the most reputable. It's not like the most well-known, but still, they're considering it, which I think is amazing. So this is a bullish, sentiment thing, I would say, when it comes to Mantra because, again, I think it validates it as a serious project. Now, is Ohm, right, the native token of Mantra, the only thing that's being considered? No, there's a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, that are being considered, but it really doesn't matter in my opinion because if anything, it showcases how Mantra, it's one of the top dogs, so to speak, in terms of its, quality. I'm not saying in terms of reputation, fans, or hype, but I'm just saying, again, in terms of quality, I think it validates that. Now, if let's say on the flip side, in the next year, for instance, or the next 2 years, let's say Grayscale never starts acquiring any Ohm. Let's say they don't want to acquire Mantra's native token. Whatever the case may be, if that is even the case, I still think it doesn't really matter anyways because, again, during a fully fledged bull run, sometimes people just don't care. You know what I mean? If Litecoin can pump, if something like Luna Classic found a bottom, if something like Klima DAO can find a bottom, I just don't see why something amazing, hypothetically, much like Ohm, won't also pump during a fully fledged bull run. And again, also on top of that, if let's say on a third scenario, Grayscale does decide to acquire some Ohm, I think that right there is actually a win-win situation. That's just a cherry on top, basically. It just puts a stamp and says, yeah, Mantra's a good project. So either way, either scenario, I think it's very amazing, this news nonetheless. Now, some people out there, they may think that, okay, yeah, this is all right news, but who cares, man? What price is Mantra's native token called Ohm going to go to during this bull run? Now, hypothetically, when it comes to that, I think $25, even though nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. But the reason for that is because if you take a look at Mantra, it's fundamentally amazing. After all, it's even been stated that Mantra is a purpose-built, real-world asset layer 1 blockchain. Now, this right here I think is very special because if you take a look at, for instance, a real-world asset, for instance, an RWA, these RWA tokens are digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain. This is very impressive because, for instance, these assets can range from real estate, you take a look at commodities, to art, and even to, in some cases, financial instruments like bonds and stocks. So this is a total game changer right there. Again, right, having a digital representation of physical assets on the blockchain, you can only imagine just how game-changing that is. Now, is Mantra the only one that's kind of focused on this thing? No, but I still think it's very amazing nonetheless. Now, we also take a look at, for instance, right, Mantra is allegedly capable of adherence to real-world regulatory requirements, which I think is amazing. Now, some people don't like regulation that much, but in my opinion, I don't really mind because having regulation gives clarity, right? It gives a sense of, okay, what are the rules, so to speak? Because if everything's kind of like the Wild Wild West, then it's just kind of a little bit weird in a sense. Now, in the world of blockchain technology, in the world of cryptocurrencies, it's still generally like that. And some people don't mind. But in my opinion, at least having the capabilities of adherence, it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Because again, if something is only built for, let's say, like the Wild Wild West, so to speak, then it doesn't have any flexible moves, right? It can't be like somewhat fluid in a sense because let's say regulation is very strong in a couple places. They can't adhere to that. They won't have an easy time doing that. But when it comes to Mantra, that's a forward-thinking mindset that they have. They know that in the future, things are going to be more regulated. So the fact that they have, capabilities to be regulated, again, that's a genius mindset that Mantra has. And I really like that. Not to mention, Mantra is currently partners with giants like Chainlink. I'm very bullish on Chainlink, by the way. You can watch all my Chainlink videos, of course, after you watch this one. But yeah, besides that point, they're also partners with something called Keplr. Now, when it comes to Keplr, some people out there, they may or, know this or not, but there's something called the Keplr wallet, which is pretty famous. I won't say it's like the most famous thing out there because there is like the Trust Wallet, all this type of stuff, but still, I still, think this is very amazing. And also, you have to take a look at the Mantra DEX, right? The Mantra Decentralized Exchange. I'm very bullish on this because the DeFi market, I think, could be massive. Now, of course, a decentralized exchange does fall under the category of the DeFi market, aka the decentralized finance market. And this market, even though, a lot of the hype kind of disappeared ever since 2021, I think better days are ahead because you take a look at, according to Grandview Research, the DeFi market is predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030. So yeah, that's very amazing. So when I take a look at Mantra, again, I think it's very fantastic as a project. It's not bad whatsoever. It's not flashy. It's not cool. It's not interesting, but I don't mind because I think there's beauty and simplicity. And again, Ohm at the price of $25 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. You have to consider the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption, also how there's over 600 million cryptocurrency owners as of right now, according to Crypto.com research. That's more than ever before in history. So that's crazy right there. I think this bull run could be so impressive. As of right now, it's just a waiting game, but in the meantime, what am I going to do? I'm going to dollar cost average the Ohm, just constantly acquire it, anytime an income, hold, and I just wait. That's it. Because I think around 6 months to a year from right now, things could be very different. Not only time will tell, but when I take a look at all these bullish factors, I just don't see why the bull run would be bad. Bitcoin hasn't even reached the price of $100,000 yet. Imagine once it does. Let's say it goes to $150,000. Could you imagine what something like Ohm could do at that point? Also, other altcoins. It could be amazing. But again, only time will tell, and I'm willing to stay patient because I'm waiting anyways, right? I'm waiting, when it comes to my other cryptocurrency holdings. And again, I'm just waiting on the whole crypto space overall. So why would I give up on Ohm? You know what I mean? I'm just going to still hold it. Just continue to, again, see what happens and just wait it out. I'm not going to panic sell or anything like that. That's not what I do. Again, dollar cost averaging is key for me because I don't like day trading. I don't like using leverage. I don't like swing trading. I don't like to do that, right? Anytime an income, again, just acquire it and just hold it. That's it. Because I think, again, in 2025, things could shine in a massive way. Only time will tell, but I'm very excited. And again, Ohm at the price of $25 during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.